What's up, G-Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show podcast. I am G1, and this is our Meg 2 trailer reaction, which is really not really a reaction because we already seen the trailer possibly a whole bunch of times. But the fact of the matter is nobody really live reacts to a trailer when it drops. That's a bunch of bogus shit on YouTube. You know you're lying. You're lying. I don't want to hear it. One of my favorite YouTubers was like, oh my God, man, it's my trailer reaction to the Transformers brand new trailer. I watched his reaction. That wasn't a reaction. He's seen it already. There's no doubt my mind. He had notes scribbled down. I was like, man, phony. So this is not a trailer reaction, although it's a trailer reaction. What? You got something to add? I just, you know.
Oh, well, see, I literally yesterday I went to, if you ever heard of this YouTuber, That Fat Samurai Guys, shout out to that dude, by the way. I went to his trailer reaction, which was a live stream, so I was there, like, all over the chat during that whole endeavor, and it was a pretty raw reaction. He didn't see it. I was like vaguely hinting that the trailer was dope, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know yet, Gamer Manila. I don't know yet," because that again. Even though I'm Gam Z1 here on the podcast, I'm known as Gamer Manila throughout most of YouTube.
That is true. So there you go. Without any introductions, Gam Z1, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi everybody.
And also, of course, because he's the one that brought it to my attention, I've been waiting for this trailer for a minute. Brother Chase, G73, Bexy, how the hell are you?
No, I'm doing all right, man. I'm giving Star Wars Fallen Order a try before I get into Jedi Survivor, and I finally have made Fallen Order fun and enjoyable by turning the difficulty down.
Oh.
I mean, that's fair, but like you're robbing yourself of the experience because the Jedi Fallen Order, like the duology that it is right now, it's supposed to be like Dark Souls. So if you don't like Dark Souls, well, then why are you playing those games?
Listen,
I hate the Dark Souls games.
I am just flabbergasted that you said you put the difficulty down. That's not like you. In the almost 10 years I've known you.
Right? And I'm not happy about it, but the thing is, when you get one-shotted...
I have a question. Was it Ogdo Bogdo?
No, it was a stormtrooper with a blaster. I got one-shotted by a stormtrooper with a blaster. He meleeed me in the head with his gun, and because I got too close, and it killed me, and I'm like, okay... And like every 20 seconds I would die, and I'm like, okay, this isn't fun, and I'm like, I want to enjoy it because I'm having fun with the story, and I really like Cal Kestis, but I'm not enjoying it when every time I take a step forward I die. And so, I mean, I've only turned it down to one difficulty, and it's on Jedi Master now, not Grandmaster.
Okay.
So it's pretty challenging, but it's not like suffocation.
I mean, I too did play it on Jedi Master and not Grandmaster, so that's you're good then.
Yeah, I tried it on Grandmaster, and I just played Alan Wake 2, and I finished Alan Wake, and so I'm like, I'm just playing something to keep me occupied. So unless it's like a big game, like I don't know, Atlas Fallen or like the Immortals game that's coming out, I mean, I'm interested in those, but I'm just trying to get me something to pass the time. I even bought all the Crisis games again, remastered, so I'm going to be playing those too. But I'm getting into the Fallen Order, so I'm having fun with that. I just met Tarful, and that's where I stopped. So have you
fought Ogdo Bogdo yet?
Who's Ogdo? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a giant alien frog.
Oh, I hate that thing.
Oh, I mean, in the tutorial planet, I killed a giant frog. It was a boss on a health bar.
yeah, that's Ogdo Bogdo, and for most Jedi Fallen Order players, he is the hardest boss in the game.
Yeah, I the first time I met him, he one-shotted me, and then I went back last night and killed him. But that's now that I've upgraded and have my force pull and push and my dual Darth Maul lightsaber.
Now that I've brought up Ogdo Bogdo, I without spoiling anything, have fun with Jedi Survivor when you get it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that because I hear it's really buggy, and so I'm hoping they fix all that.
Well, speaking of buggy and giant things, the beginning of the trailer to the Meg 2. Giant dragonfly
Yes.
gets eaten by a giant, I don't know, well, not so giant, but probably human-sized lizard. See how that segued? That was kind of what we do.
That was a great segue. And I would love to talk about this scene specifically because of the significance of this scene to me personally as a reader of the original novels.
So that's what we want to do here, because my question for this podcast, because granted, it's a trailer review, but this is more like, this podcast basically is going to be, can the Meg become a franchise? Oh, bad pun, sorry, couldn't help myself.
It has the very strong possibility of becoming such.
Okay.
And I can get into it. I can definitely get into it.
So by mega franchises, I mean stuff like a Star Wars, the Marvel series. To me, something more in line with this, I would say the Fast and Furious movies as are mega franchises, right? So let's talk about this trailer first, and then let's talk about the possibilities where this franchise can go. So I'm gonna start with you, Gam, with this trailer, and I'm gonna go to you, Brother Chase, because you brought it to my attention. I've been waiting for this trailer for a minute. Since they screened it at CinemaCon about 2 weeks ago, and gave a description of the trailer. When I read the description of the trailer, I was like, eh. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, whoa, okay. So, Gam, I want to start with you. What was your reaction?
Okay. So, my gut reaction of the trailer was sheer positivity, all right? Starting from the very beginning, when I saw this ecosystem with the dragonfly coming in, with the little lizards eating the dragonfly, and then all of a sudden the T-Rex shows up. And when the T-Rex showed up, I instantly, oh my God, this is shot for shot the very beginning prologue chapter to the original Meg novel in 1997 by Steve Alten. And that is how it opens, with the T-Rex at the shoreline hunting, and then all of a sudden the Megalodon comes up from behind and fucking gets him and drags him back into the waves. That is how it opens, and yes, back then it was a dig at Jurassic Park.
Right.
And with the Meg 2, it's a dig at Jurassic World Dominion.
Is it really?
And I love the parallels with that, because that is the franchise that I would most closely compare this to, as the Jurassic franchise, because it deals with prehistoric life, just not prehistoric land life, exclusively prehistoric sea life.
Yeah, I guess we can say that the Jurassic franchise is definitely a mega franchise. 6 movies, over $2 billion, over $3 billion if you add it all up, right? So definitely successful.
Merged spin-off shows.
Right. Yeah.
And a TV show coming out too.
Yeah, and then, games and all that, the toys, merchandise. I mean, it is a mega franchise. So, okay.
Oh, yeah. And, well, to talk about this sequel is to also talk about the kind of the first movie and kind of the build-up to the first movie, because Steve Alten, the original author of the Meg franchise, there are 8 of these books, by the way, some of them tied to some of Steve Alten's other books. This is where the franchise potential is coming in, but I'll talk about that later. He's been trying to get the Meg made into a movie since like 1999. Huh. And it didn't take them until when did the Meg come out? 2018?
Was it that long?
Yeah, about 2018, yeah.
Wow. Holy crap, time flies. I thought that shit was like 2019, 2020, but holy crap. So wait.
I think it was the end of 2018 that the Meg came out.
The Meg came out before King of the Monsters?
Yeah, it's a 2018 science fiction action film.
Wow.
Yeah, it came out near the end of 2018, before King of the Monsters.
Okay.
And it took him that long, almost 20 years of dedication to get this movie out there and in theaters. And now that he's got the ball rolling, now that the movie made its money and he can start and the studio can move forward with sequels like we're seeing now, we got this, which is adapting The Trench, which brings in more prehistoric creatures, more deep dives into the Marianas Trench. I'm not sure how much of the novel they're going to be adapting. It doesn't look like they're going to be adapting much outside of introducing more creatures besides megalodons. And granted, the first movie wasn't that faithful to the book anyway, but it's fine. We got more exploring the depths. We see a giant squid, I think.
Yeah.
Some sort of kraken type monster. We see the biggest Meg we've ever seen, even though we've only seen, like, what, 2 in the last movie?
2?
And then apparently they all escape. And a lot of people are thinking they may start to bring in more novel elements, and that the big scarred one is actually a central shark character's mother. In the novel series, there's this character called Angel. She is a megalodon that was basically born in captivity, and it's like half albino in the novels. And we're thinking that the big megalodon in this trailer is going to be Angel's mother.
You're thinking. The fans of the books are thinking, because I've never read the book. Again, up until the Meg came out, I didn't even know that was a book series. So I had no clue.
I mean, you've had a few years to read the books.
Well,
I told you about this back when the first movie came out.
Well, yeah. But,
What do you mean we can't read?
yeah, what do you think this is?
Reading. Who does that?
I stopped reading
know
after
how
I
to read.
graduated high school. There's no reason. That's not true. I read comic books all the time.
But I'm certainly glad that Jonas is back as Jason Statham. I'm not sure. I think his best friend is back from the first movie. Is the love interest back? Is Ling Ling or whatever her actress's name is?
So
She
far,
coming
it
back?
looks like the whole cast is back, other than Ruby Rose. But I'm not. I was trying to think that too, if the girlfriend is coming back, the love interest. But I know the kid is back, and she's older. But I mean, I don't know if the mom is though.
Interesting.
Okay. And yeah, we see them, and apparently some of those lizards from the prologue that were on land are apparently coming back to life. I don't know if they stayed down in the trench or not. I don't know how that's going to play into the movie. That was during that whole montage with Barracuda. Great song choice, by the way. I loved the song choice.
I love that song. I just like... Barracuda's a vicious fish, don't get me wrong. We've all played Maneater here, and those are pieces of shit in the water. But at the same time, this is a megalodon, all right? Barracuda, I would have probably not played the freaking chorus. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And it's got more of that ridiculousness, like from the end of the first movie where the shark jumped up and Jonas shoved the thing in its eye. It's got more of that with the shark jumping up, with Jonas with a spear on a wave runner at the end of the trailer. That was cool. It's got a lot of cool shots in it. I'm also kind of worried that because of how the trailer flowed story-wise, that it might have shown us too much of the movie. Do you guys feel that?
No, and I think this is
I always feel that with Jason Statham movies.
Well, I'll hold that thought. I got to know why. I don't think so. I don't feel that way, but also I don't know the source material like that. So I thought they gave us a perfect amount of teasing. Like, for me personally, I mean, we know what the Meg is. We've seen it in the first one. Now there's 3. We got teases of the giant squid, octopus, kraken, whatever. We got teases of whatever's coming from primordial Earth onto land. Little shots like that. Definitely more that is going to be shown in the theater. But I don't think this one, in my personal opinion, again, I never read the books, but I don't think they gave much away. To me, what this trailer did was set the tone. And the tone, I was right on board for. I was like, okay, I'm in, hook, line, and sinker. Sorry for another bad pun, but...
Oh, the bad puns abound. I mean, it's probably the movie itself's probably going to be filled with bad puns because you're right. The tone is very firmly established in this trailer, and that tone is: we know what we are. We're a sci-fi original channel movie with the budget of a Warner Brothers production. We're here for a good time, and so are you.
Fuck you, Sharknado. Brother Chase, let me ask you.
Ooh, no.
I want to ask you, what do you mean by every time I see a Jason Statham trailer, I see the whole movie? What?
Oh, dude, because when you see Jason, okay, aside from the Guy Ritchie stuff and his like heist movies, when you see Jason Statham for the most part in everything he does, you know he's going to be the same character in every one of his movies, and it just, I mean, like. Okay, maybe not spoil the whole movie or like know what it is, but it just seems like when I personally go see a Jason Statham movie, I just go and realize, okay, I'm just going to see a movie that's bonkers.
Okay,
so that's all I need to know.
That's fair. I mean, Crank is a bonkers fucking movie.
It was like high voltage. Yeah. High voltage.
Oh my god.
I mean, I love the first Meg, and I'm excited for this one too. But I'm really excited for it being called Jason Statham Destroy All Monsters.
Oh, come on! Stop!
I'm waiting for.
We haven't gotten to the adaptation of Godzilla ongoing by IDW yet.
Dude, I was telling you, man. I'm waiting for Warner Brothers to connect Monarch into the Meg. I think that's going to be if they produce that. No, I'm excited for it. I'm just excited for a fun bonkers movie. I don't need too much about this movie to know much. Same. It's not like Godzilla or whatever where I'm curiously wanting to know what's going on. But like for this, I just know it's going to be a sequel to the first one, and I'm interested to see where it goes. And if it's fun and interesting, with a giant shark, I'm in. I will say though, a little bit that's kind of disappointing me though is like it. I know it's not stock footage, and I know it's not the same, but like in the scenes they were showing us, it felt like they were like re-scened, like redone scenes from the first movie when the shark comes in and attacks everybody in the beach. It just looked a little bit too similar to me, and I'm not like going to hold that against them, because I give them props for doing something in the day, but something in me just kind of was like, it looks like the same scene and it looks like the same thing, and like I'm laughing that they brought the little dog Fifi back.
I wanted to ask you guys. I was like, I could have sworn that dog was white in the first movie, had white fur. This one was brown.
Yeah, they brought the dog back, and I want to know the context of the people in the little dinghy, and they start like the little like toy boat, and they're like paddling to go faster. Like they don't really show the context. I mean, obviously the shark's coming or something's coming, but they don't show much. But
that's cannon fodder, right?
But yeah, there. I'm excited to see it, and I mean, what I'll say in this trailer, they showed a lot of people get eaten, and now so I like that. I give props for that. But I'm excited for it. I'm down. I mean, I've been waiting for this. I mean, they announced this sequel back like almost immediately right after the first Meg was done, and I've been hearing for the past couple of months about like the Meg 2 trailer, and I remember it was I think it was like back in February. They said Meg 2, The Trench, and I'm like, okay, now show us the trailer, but like nothing showed. I'm like, okay, interesting. So. I'm fine. I'm glad we finally get to see something. I've been waiting for a while, as the rest of us have. But I'm on board. I'm excited to have more fun with it.
It's funny.
I didn't think the first Meg was bad by any means, and I had a lot of fun, so I'm down.
It's funny you say how in the trailer you felt like there were certain things that was kind of ripped from the first movie, especially with like the Meg going to the beach and eating people. It was like almost a rehash. It's funny you say that, and take it to the video games that we were talking at the top of the show. To me, that reminded me of Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide. It's pretty much the same games, DLC. It's not Dead Island 2, though, which I'm playing currently right now, and I swear to God, I wish there was a zombie shark in it, because that would make my day. But that's how I see it. I see it like it's Dead Island and Dead Island 2. But I understand where you're coming from in that regard. I'll be honest. The Meg, although I enjoyed it, was not one of those movies that I go back to constantly. It was like, okay, like you said earlier, Brother Chase, it's Jason Statham fighting a shark. He ain't losing. I don't think I've ever seen Jason Statham lose in a movie. I'm trying to remember. He
doesn't even lose to The Rock.
Exactly. So, it's a fun popcorn movie, but for me, it's crazy because this trailer, and like I said, when I read the description, when I read the breakdown, I was like, all right, I don't know. But then I see this trailer, and it slapped me in the face. It literally was like the fish market in Seattle where they take the fish and throw it across the room and the other guy catches it, except I didn't catch it. I got slapped in the face with it. This trailer did that to me. Slapped me in the face. And it literally, it got my attention, and I was like, "Oh my God!" From the beginning to the middle to the end of that trailer, it was relentless. It didn't let up for me. It was saying, "This is what this movie is. This is what you're getting. We're not taking it serious anymore. We're going balls to the wall," and that's for me all I needed to see. I mean, this year, so far this year, the movies have been hit or miss for me, right?
Right.
I love the John Wick franchise. All of a sudden, John Wick is fucking invincible in John Wick 4. It didn't feel the same. The first Meg was already out of the realm of disbelief. They did some weird things in it, but for the most part, they tried to keep it as grounded as possible while being on the water. This trailer ain't doing that. This trailer is telling you, yo, we're going to go to space real soon. I'm okay with it. I love it. I actually cannot wait. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to tell you right now. I remember how everybody's reaction to Dungeons and Dragons trailer was, and then when we saw the movie. That's how I feel with this trailer. Like, I feel the way y'all felt for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I cannot wait to see this movie now because it just looks like my type of goofiness. It's silly. But it doesn't take itself serious. It's played for laughs, but it's not a comedy. It's not going to be Piranha 3D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to be. So that's how I took this trailer, and some of the shots are visually stunning. I love the giant squid eye opening. That was actually an octopus eye. So let's just get that straight. A squid eye is more round. There's an iris in it. The octopus eye has the little square that opens up. So that was definitely an octopus or the kraken. I love that the tentacles comes out and grabs the helicopter. I mean, these things were just blowing my mind. I was like, oh my God. I love this shot of the 3 megalodons swimming towards the beach. Or the K. It looked like a K almost, I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I cannot wait for this movie. And then there's one particular scene, and this is where it turned. This is where I was like, okay, the trailer, this is all you needed to do. Oh my God, what did the girl say? The girl said, I hope it's not like the first one, or something similar to that. And I lost it.
Yeah, it's like, what happened the first time?
Yes.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. I lost my shit. I cracked the fuck up. I said, this is the movie I want to see. Definitely to get my appetite wet for, GXK next year. Or fuck that, Godzilla this year. You know? Like, this will whet my appetite.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited. I really am. The trailer was fucking... The trailer was on point for me. It was something I did not expect. Especially after reading the description. The special effects look great. I was kind of goofing a bit in the beginning because I was like, they're really not showing the Tyrannosaurus's face so much. You know?
Dude, that T-Rex looked like the T-Rex from Journey to the Center of the Earth. That old rock movie.
Wow.
I mean, to me, it kind of looked like Rexy when she roared at the Indominus Rex after she smashed through the Spinosaurus skeleton.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I
personally didn't see that, but I mean, again, Rexy was designed to just look like the generic T-Rex too.
Yeah, and that's what we got with this. So I did like that. I mean, like I said, the special effects look really good. Really, really good. I loved another part. They poked fun at the first movie. Oh, this is mech-proof, yeah. And then, bam! The mech just jumps down on it.
I like that part a lot.
That was so good.
I'm waiting for them to introduce like a Sarcosuchus, a giant crocodile, prehistoric crocodile. I'm waiting for that.
Well,
Acid.
Well,
I'm not sure. Okay, so this is where I'm going to take over. All right. So in the novels, a lot of species get introduced. All right, we get shit like the Kronosaurus, which is a member of the Tylosaur family, I do believe.
Yeah.
We get the Leopleurodon. We get the Dunkleosteus. We get various forms of the cephalopods with the spiral shells, but like huge versions of those. I forget what the hell those are called.
Like the turtles?
There's also megaturtles and all sorts of stuff down there in that Mariana Trench ecosystem below that cloud that was in the first movie that they went under. And where it's all heated up by the geothermal vents. Now, in the novels, everything is bioluminescent. I guess they took that out, and I know the reason why they took that out, because they tried to make the Megalodons all like stark white, albino, bioluminescent in the first movie, but it made the sharks look fake. So that's why they redesigned them. Because they just could not pull it off with the budget and CGI that they had, because the sharks just look fake. But yeah, there's an entire ecosystem down there, and as I said, there are 8 sequels to the Meg. There are 9 novels in total, 3 whole trilogies worth.
Real quick, I just wanted to ask about that real quick. Have you read them all?
I have read most of them. The 8th sequel is not out yet. It's still in the process of being published.
Is the original writer the writer for all of them, or?
Yes, he is.
Oh wow! So yeah, okay. So
and he is the executive producer for this movie franchise, so he is directly overseeing everything. Everything's getting his approval. And his it's almost basically his vision for the franchise. No matter how different it is from his novels, he is directly involved. Which is amazing.
I like
for
that.
Me.
I see when it's like that, and again, we know what we're getting. When it's like that, and the writer, the creator of this is on board. Yeah, I think we have a shot at making a lot of money and a lot of sequels. So I'm excited for that. But go ahead, Gams.
All right. So as I said, there are 8 sequels to the Meg, and with one of them still being written, or it's done being wrote and it's in the middle of editing. It's coming out this year, the same year as this sequel. And there's also kind of sort of spin-offs where, like, you think that this is just like a different novel that he wrote outside of the Meg franchise, and it's just something that he wanted to do. But then he writes a new Meg book that ties it all in together, like this book called The Loch, where it's about the Loch Ness Monster. and it's all tied in with this Meg franchise.
You can't do that to me. Come on, that's not right. I love the Loch Ness Monster. Give me all of that.
Yeah, we could be getting a new Loch Ness Monster movie under this Megverse.
Yeah. That's something interesting. We haven't had a movie about the Loch Ness Monster in a long time.
A good one.
And The Loch is a great book. And I will tell you, it's not going... If they do adapt The Loch, and if they do adapt it well, however long in the future, be ready, because in The Loch Ness Monster is not a plesiosaur. And that's all I'll say about it.
Wait a minute. Time out. Well, keep talking. But I'm telling you right now, I think I have that book. I'm checking my Kindle right now. Because it wasn't a plesiosaur in the book I have.
It's in fact a giant prehistoric eel.
Oh, no, that's not what I have then. Wait. I don't recall it being an eel.
They should make a horror movie about Tahoe Tessie.
Okay, no, I don't have that book. I thought I did. I've got 2 different books. I got Leviathan and something called Lake Monsters. I thought I had The Loch. Maybe I just saw it and I never bought it, but okay, my bad. Go ahead, sir.
It's a great read. All of Steve Alton's books are great reads. And this is where I will implore our readers out there that might be listening to this podcast, please read the books. These people won't because they don't read, but you will, dear viewer, please.
Is he the author of the book Chronosaur 2? Or Chronosaur Rising?
I think he might be, actually.
Because I remember seeing that book a while back come up a lot on my suggestions and stuff. But I didn't, I never, looked into it, but I thought it was always interesting.
Oh, no. It's, Chronos Rising is by Max Hawthorne.
Okay.
So I love this idea that Steve Alton writes the Meg novels and then does side pieces pretty much that ties in. It's like the Skywalker saga. You got the Skywalker saga, but there's a Star Wars movie over here. There's a Star Wars movie over here. Or dare I say, the Fast and the Furious franchise went, there's a Hobbs and Shaw movie, with Jason Statham, no less. That's where I go back to my original question. Could this be a mega franchise going forward?
It has the very strong potential to be. And it has the very strong potential to be a mega franchise that's not too derivative of other franchises that's at least it's similar to. And I'm saying that because, the books are very similar to the Jurassic franchise. Like, the main character that Jason Statham plays, Jonas, in the books, he's a paleontologist. And, he also has the Navy submarine diver background, but that PTSD just turned him into a bookworm rather than the drunk that he became in the movie.
I like that difference. Holy crap. I gotta read this book.
And I think they did that difference in order to differentiate the Meg from Jurassic Park, because Jonas in the novel was very similar to the character of Alan Grant.
Okay.
And with that differentiating and the high octane pumping action appeal that Jason Statham brings with him in nearly everywhere he goes, I believe if they bring in enough elements from the novels, like, say, from the third novel, Hell's Aquarium, they bring in this Dubai aquarium that takes all the species from the trench and puts them on display, and shenanigans ensue because of all these giant prehistoric creatures being kept in captivity.
Wait.
So it's almost like...
Go ahead, Chase. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jurassic Park with Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, I was gonna...
Deep Blue Sea, yes.
I was going to show my age. I was going to say Jaws 3.
Oh, no, shit. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Jurassic Park, Jaws 3.
It should get Dennis Quaid in it.
Yes. Oh my God. So all right. Oh. I'm actually
There
going
is
to purchase
potential.
this.
If you take the best bits from the novel and take out the boring, too derivative stuff and just inject more Jason Statham madness into it, we could have a very fun franchise on our hand.
So is the second book called The Trench?
Yes.
See, I like that. As long as they stay with it, right? I mean, Jurassic Park 2 was called Jurassic World, and then it stopped because Michael Crichton didn't write another Jurassic book, right? Brother Chase, I want to ask you, with the Jurassic franchise on hiatus as of right now, I mean, in the last podcast me and Gam Gam had, the last hour of it was talking about the Jurassic franchise and where would we take it. And my whole thing was like X-Files meets Jurassic Park. Like the FBI, running the show.
The Department of Prehistoric Wildlife.
Right, exactly. So
just a show surrounding that whole sector of the United States government.
Yes,
so they did a mini series on YouTube that was kind of like that a while ago.
But what I want to ask
where
you,
it was a bunch of. Oh, go ahead.
No, what I want to ask you though is, with the Jurassic franchise kind of on hiatus right now, is this prime time real estate for something like the Meg to come in and, here's another one, churn out sequels every other year? See what I did there? Churn, water churn, sharks. It's full of bad jokes today. I don't care. But do you think this is a prime opportunity for that to happen, for Warner Brothers to say, okay, you know what? We can make this movie for X amount of money, right? We can make it like just not schlock, but like what passes for fun schlock today, and have Jason Statham star in it, and build a franchise around him. This dude's never really had a franchise built around him. The Transporter, but that fell flat. Expendables was always Stallone's show, and Fast and Furious, he was a bad guy, so that's not it. But this is it. This is his vehicle. This is his monster franchise movie, quote unquote. So do you think that they can come in, swoop in, and while Jurassic Park is on hiatus, make these movies?
I mean, I definitely don't see why not, but you got to understand too, and I don't know whether whether this will inflict or not, but I will say one thing too, is we just also had a Megalodon movie come out like a week ago called The Black Demon, it got pulled from theaters because it only made like $100.
It also had a very poor marketing scheme. It had one trailer that came out 2 weeks.
No marketing.
Yeah. It came out like 2
that
weeks
movie
before.
had next to no marketing, and it didn't have the star power that Jason Statham has.
That's
right.
Too, yeah.
But that's what I was gonna say. It's like I don't know if that movie would inflict anything on it at all, but it does raise the chance if it's a possibility, but I doubt it. But however, what I was going to say is that, with Warner Brothers, with them also doing Godzilla as well, you would have two big franchises like the Meg and then Godzilla and whatever Godzilla Kong stuff. And in between Jurassic movies, that could become a little bit risky. So I don't know as well what that, I mean, I personally don't think it would be really of an issue as long as they're smart about it. But like, I wouldn't put the Meg in like a May release, I would keep it in months like August or, now March is becoming the pre-May. Every big franchise is trying to get that March money, and that's all probably because of, honestly, Godzilla and Kong. But I don't know. I mean, as far as them coming in and making a franchise, I don't see why not. I mean, if the Meg, if the sequel to this, if this movie does well, then I mean, why not? Why not make more? But then again, you have to figure out what ways are you going to make it still engaging and fresh and not the same thing You know, because I mean, with shark movies, that's why, and that's another thing too. Why I said like it felt like this trailer was reshot from stuff from the first one. Are we just going to do that again for the third movie? I mean, even the part where the shark bites through the glass, that's like it's almost reminiscent to the part where he comes and scares the girl. But, like, totally different. I get that. But still, it's like, okay, the shots are starting to be similar. Now, what can you do in the third movie to have the material? You know, that's why I say in the third one, if they do it, have a giant crocodile fight the Meg. And then Jason Statham has to deal with both of them, put them on timeout.
But we did that. Asylum did that. But, like, mega shark and shit.
Yeah. We already had that movie. It's called Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus.
There it is.
But right, they're just doing remakes of old Asylum movies
with a budget.
I definitely think there's the potential there for a franchise as long as everyone goes see it. But
okay. So right now, as we are talking, as we are recording this podcast, I just, like before we watched this podcast, like not minutes before, I rewatched this trailer with my partner. And it is currently, right now as I'm speaking, #1 on trending in all of YouTube.
And that's great.
People want it.
You know, I mean, and you know, it's one thing I actually was thinking about yesterday. I was like, you know, I've noticed lately that the movies that become memeable do very well. And Jason Statham in Sharks is a very memeable movie.
Wow.
And
this movie is pure memes.
Yeah, and so I think, like, that's a smart thing to go with a trend, because right now memes are one of the biggest trends. Maybe not the or if not the biggest trend. So, you know, I definitely think, you know, I wasn't expecting the first Meg to be successful, and it was. It exceeded expectations. You know, that movie made, what, almost $500 million at the box office?
Yeah,
just about, yeah.
That's a good take.
And so
it was a pretty low budgeted movie.
Yeah,
in terms of like big budget Hollywood movies, it was pretty low budgeted.
Yeah. So it's like it's definitely a franchise potential. It would be nice to have something new for a franchise to see. But then again, it's like, how long can the Meg keep? You know, how long can you keep that engaging? You know, 8 books. Do I imagine 8 sequels? Probably not. But, like, as long as the material is fresh and keeps people interested, you know, then I don't understand why. I mean, like, I can, you know, just out of speculation, like, you know, it'd be interesting if they said, oh, the Meg could survive cold waters. Then you have Jason Statham go into the Arctic, fighting the Meg in the Arctic or something, you know? I mean,
I do believe they go that route in the novels.
Oh, straight up.
I know. I remember
they go everywhere.
There was an old movie called Megalodon that took place in Antarctica, and it was like a station in Antarctica, but like, you know, still, you know, I'm just in it for the fun of it, and as long as it's fun, man, I don't care. But you know, I'm on board. You know, I would have no issues if they turned it into a franchise, as long as it made money and was entertaining and not just terrible. You know, I'm down for it.
So I'm gonna, you know, because our brother JR is not with us, he had to work. So sorry, JR, but this one's for you. I'm gonna point out that I agree with what you're saying as far as how many different ways can you see a shark attack somebody. Granted, it's a giant shark, but how many different ways can we honestly do this? And I come back with, for my brother JR, how many different times can we see Vin Diesel drive a car and say it's all about family? Because apparently it's 10. Apparently it's 10 fucking times. And it's driving me up.
How many times can we see Chris Pratt hold his hand up to a dinosaur?
Well,
3.
3, but really 2, really 1. But I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is the potential is there. It's not about how many times can we see this, because we've seen franchises that just regurgitate the same thing, except they do stupider shit. This is where... here comes another bad pun. This is where Fast and the Furious jumped the shark. They said, fuck it, all right, you know what? We can't keep stealing DVDs out of the back of a fucking 16-wheeler. Let's become a government agency. Let's go take down some terrorist hell. Let's go fly into space. Are you out of your fucking mind? Hell, they were even in the Arctic. They were driving by a fucking submarine as it was coming up in the ice. I never watched it. I just seen the trailers.
I remember that.
So I'm saying,
and they're gonna fight Aquaman in the new one.
And they're gonna fight Aquaman in the new one. Are you fucking kidding me? So I'm saying, it's the same fucking thing, but they keep making these movies because people keep going to see it, and I cannot knock it. It ain't my type of film. But eventually, one day, when the saga is all said and done, I might sit there and watch it just to see how funny and entertaining it really is when it jumps that shark. Now, you got a franchise like The Meg. We got a sequel. There's 8 books. Going to be 9. The potential is there. You've got the creator saying, yo, we could do this all day. Kind of like Captain America, right? Let's fucking go. Yes.
I like your pun.
It's a giant, right? It's a giant shark. It's a giant shark. Like giant monsters, while not king of the box offices.
Multiple generations of giant sharks. These things breed constantly in the books.
I like that idea, and I mean, but I'm with you, Chase. Trust me, I'm with you. Do we get fatigue? You know what I'm saying? Is there going to be fatigue?
Right.
My only counter to that is Vin Diesel drives a car and screams family for 10 fucking movies. And I can't. I just can't.
You know, I guess you can make, I mean, I know it's going to make people upset, but in a way, I guess you can make the same argument for the Marvel movies. But now it's seeming the Marvel movies are not doing so well. I don't know how well Guardians 3 did, but they haven't called me into work. I've been saying it's been busy.
Well, it did crush this weekend. I forgot what, I didn't look at the whole, but it did crush. It was number 1. They took Mario down. So Chris Pratt.
Mario's down to number 2 now, huh?
Yeah, so Chris Pratt has the 1 and 2 movies. He has the 1 and 2 movies. He's a megastar. A star. I'm just saying. Sorry for the bad pun again. You know what? I'm going to title this the Meg trailer stuff, whatever, with the title, Can This Become a Mega Franchise? The Bad Mega Punch. It's just the worst.
You know what's interesting is now it's like Chris Pratt's the megastar, and then The Rock is in a $3 billion lawsuit for some stupid he did. So it's like now Chris Pratt's going to take the throne.
There are a lot of people who can get in there, and right now Jason Statham is primed because look, you got to look at it like this. Jason Statham is not a spring chicken, right? He's getting up there in age, but with a franchise like this, he doesn't really have to do much. He sits on a jet ski in a pool with a green screen behind him. And then they add all the fun stuff.
And it's actually perfect for Jason Statham, right? Because in case you didn't know, he's an Olympic diver. He once was an Olympic diver. I don't know if he's probably still not an Olympic diver, but he is very closely tied to the water.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's.
Oh, and he constantly still practices his martial arts too.
I forgot.
He keeps himself really fit.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot. That's what made me love that dude in the first place. I'm like, he's the better version of Steven Seagal. At least that's how I took it when I first saw him in the transporter. I was like, look at this guy. He's amazing.
Jason Seagal.
But, yeah, so you were saying Gans?
Oh, like I said, with his background as being an Olympic diver and all that stuff, he's perfect for a franchise that deals so much with the water, like the Meg franchise. And I don't know. I'm a book reader. I'm far more excited about this than the casual moviegoers who was like, wait, this was a book? What? I thought it was just a dumb shark movie. What?
Oh, come on. Give us a break.
I mean, but like, okay, that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing. The novels are just as Sci-Fi Channel trash as the films.
And that's what has me interested. That's what has my curiosity peaked, because I can sit down and read, some trashy sci-fi giant monster stuff in a week. Question, let me ask you a question, Gams. Do they take themselves seriously, or do they literally just go bonkers?
It takes itself like in the same level of seriousness as the first movie for like the first 2 or 3 books, but then it finally jumps the shark with the fourth.
Fuck it.
I
We're
like
fighting.
that.
We're fighting
So, like,
space sharks with
you need to know
lasers.
what it is, but goofy enough to have fun with it. Yeah.
Look, Austin Powers was onto something. Sharks with freaking laser beams on their head. That's all I need. A Death Star shark. Something. Look, honestly, come on. Who would not pay to see a megalodon versus a mecha megalodon? I'm down. I want it.
I mean, again, we already got that. It's called Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. But,
Shit, that's right. I forgot about. I try not to pay too much attention to those asylum films, but sometimes they just get it right. They just get it
I
right.
literally recall borrowing like a YouTube key for YouTube. Oh wait, that might actually have been Antony. Never mind.
Rest in peace. I wish you was here to see this crazy shit.
Yeah, I actually gave Antony, rest in peace, my boy. I didn't think I'd be talking about him today in a Meg movie, talk about all things. But I gave him like I bought for him on YouTube Movies, like a rental, one-day rental, Mega Shark versus Colossus, the fourth Mega Shark movie.
Colossus like a squid.
No, it's a giant robot that looks like the Colossal Titan from Attack on Titan.
Okay, I remember that now.
Holy crap. Well, I mean, this can be potentially a franchise. I mean, it is a franchise. There's a sequel. But could it be a mega franchise? I gotta say yes. I believe it could be. The first movie was
fully believe if Steve Alton stays on board, if Steve Alton keeps on captaining this ship, we could go places, and I'm excited.
I am. I honestly believe even with the sequels, you're gonna up the money and whatever, but you still don't have to give it a significant amount. If the first Meg movie, let's say, cost what? Let's say $200 million to make. I don't know personally. Let's say $200 million to make, but it made $500, right? That's great. Considering they didn't do what King of the Monsters did and shot their load in marketing and lost everything, right? Even though it made a good amount of money, lost everything.
It says the first Meg's budget was 130 to between 170 million.
Come on, man. So yeah, round about 200 million. I would love to say 170. Let's say 155. Right? Let's say 155.
And it made 530 million worldwide.
That right there, you take your budget back. Then you put some extra into the other movie. I'm sure when it came down to streaming and physical copy Blu-ray DVDs, it made a killing. This sequel This sequel looks like it's ready to rock and roll for people who want to rock and roll. And for all intents and purposes...
it definitely even looks like a budget increase for the second movie.
Oh, yeah. I definitely see that. I mean, the more monsters, the special effects.
What I will say is to those of you that go see in this Meg sequel and you didn't make 65 a success, shame on you. Okay. Shame on you.
Look, I finally watched that movie. It's not as good as you're making it out to be, my guy.
Oh, I love 65. That was great.
That was a good movie. What are you talking about?
I think it was a good movie for what it was, but I wouldn't want a sequel for it. I mean, I don't know how you could do a sequel.
I know how you could do a sequel. You call it Meg 3.
No, 65.
I know. You just tie it in. I mean, like, hey, we found this weird alloy in this volcanic rock. We don't know. It's otherworldly. Like, what can we do? Make a spaceship. Let's send the Meg to space like they did Gamera in the first Gamera movie. That's it. There we go.
They could steal from Asylum and make Megarex or Shark Rex.
Look,
or Tyrannus Shark.
Even if the Meg franchise, and again, I'm going to read the first novel, at least the first two. I'm going to get them because I have to now. It's a must. But let's just say, even if the franchise did go on, and they started ripping off the Jurassic franchise, where they started doing gene manipulation to certain things, and I don't know, the only person I know is Scam, and whoever's watching that read the books. What if they did? I'm down with it. I'm down with it. And listen, give me the Meg versus Carnosaur. That, like, honestly. Well,
all right.
Give me
Bring
crazy.
back that old franchise. Yeah.
Well,
Roger Corman's not doing anything with it. It's fine.
Yeah, but think about it.
I want to see like a resurgence of like dragon movies. Like, bring me back Reign of Fire.
Well,
okay, no, hold on. Time out. Speaking of Roger Corman movies, I have a crackpot theory that's probably not going to be true. It's probably just going to be a giant kraken octopus. But what if Sharktopus?
Nah, that wasn't a Corman movie. That was Asylum.
No, it wasn't Asylum. It was Roger Corman. Look it up.
Roger Corman did Sharktopus?
Roger Corman did all 3 Sharktopus movies.
True story. I actually watched that first one. I was pissed drunk, but I watched it. It was on my TV while my eyes was open somewhat. I did watch that one. No, because the concept is just crazy. It's a fucking shark and an octopus. It's Sharktopus. Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? Yes, I'm in. Give it to me. Oh, man, but yeah. This...
I mean, I don't want to give away too much. There's a lot going on in the Trench novel for me to say if anything from that is getting adapted into this. I didn't see the Chronosaurus. I didn't see the Dunkleosteus. I didn't see the Leopleurodon. Maybe they're saving them for the actual movie and not putting it in the marketing. If you do have those, don't put it in the marketing. You're going to ruin it for literally everybody. Warner Brothers, please. Learn from King of the Monsters, Warner Brothers.
Please learn. Please learn. This is what made 65 a good success. I don't care what Gam says. It's a good movie.
We could talk about it on the G1 and Z1 show.
Yeah, okay. All right. Bet.
Bet.
So
Let's go.
So there are things we have not seen in the trailer that was in the second book that can possibly
yes, there's
be
lots of things. Like a lot of it actually has to do with the love interest character from the first book, who was readapted to be from Japanese in the book to Chinese in the movie. Ling Bingbing's character. In the second novel, it deals a lot with her going into the trench from this multi-billionaire scumbag who in the novel was described to look pretty much just like Jeff Bezos. It's kind of scary. And
The Simpsons did it.
That's great. That was great.
And he's just like this scumbag who's trying to like weaponize the creatures down there. Or something like that, and it's just some wacky sci-fi channel shit.
So then Jurassic World must have stole that idea from the books. Weaponized dinosaurs.
No, remember that was in the works forever. But yeah, now that I think about it,
Right.
Jurassic. Well, no. So Jurassic Park came out in '93. The movie came out in '93. The Meg novel came out in '97.
Well,
okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see.
Do you guys recall the scrapped Jurassic Park 4 movie that Spielberg was going to do?
Yeah, with the dinosaur human hybrids, we all know.
Yeah.
We all dread.
Right. Did you know about that, Ray? Yeah, Spielberg was going to do a Jurassic Park where their InGen was going to be experimenting on humans.
I can't see Spielberg doing that. like I knew about it, but I didn't. I can never wrap my head around Spielberg doing that.
Like you know that dinosaur counterpart to the street sharks? It was going to be like that. Extreme dinosaurs or something like that.
Yeah, listen, there was only one dinosaur. All right, two dinosaur cartoons back in the day that worked. One, Dino Saucers, okay, You don't believe me? Check it out. They're fucking dinosaurs that came from space and UFOs. Dino-saucers. And 2, Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend and a whole lot more. That's it. I ain't singing no more. But that
okay,
was,
but like the dinosaur sitcom is still masterful to this day. Come on, not the mama.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I watched it every now and then, but it was not my thing. I did not like. Don't take fucking monsters and make them goofy like that. They're dinosaurs, crying out loud. Make them eat everything. I did not want to see fucking the honeymooners, the dinosaur version. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. I do give it props.
I'll tell you what, man. You want to see a good dinosaur movie? Watch the old. I think it was either late '60s, early '70s of the movie Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a Cradle.
You ever seen that?
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I've always been a Cradle Lake Monster fan.
It almost is like a homage or a ripoff of Invasion of Astro Monster, because they pull out a T-Rex, a Stegosaurus, and like a Brontosaurus from the ocean, and they're frozen, and they like thaw out on the land, and then they just go on a rampage, start killing people.
Remake that. Remake Sony. What are you doing?
No. See, if they're going to do anything like that, they should remake they should actually make an adaptation of Dinosaurs Attack, the old trading card series by Topps.
No. Shh. Don't give anybody my ideas, bro. Come on. Shh.
I mean, that's what Tim Burton was literally going to do before Jurassic Park came out, and then he had to quickly take a left turn and make Mars Attacks.
Which turned out to be a damn good movie.
Look like Tim Curry?
No, they look like that in the old trading cards.
Yeah. Tim Curry, that's funny as hell. Like, that is the most random shit. No, those were from the 60s. Those
alien from Mars Attack, they look like Tim Curry. Tim Curry was an alien.
And here's a funny and true story that Mars Attacks actually predates Dinosaurs Attacks.
Yes, it
by
does.
20 years. By 20 years. But yeah, no, I own the entire set of Dinosaurs Attacks, and I have actually eaten the 30-year-old stale bubblegum.
Oh, no.
I did. Yeah, it wasn't good. Wasn't good. It actually just dissolves. It breaks up into...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it breaks up into... So, you gotta open the package just right so the actual stick of gum doesn't break. Then you take the gum and you got to put it on the palm of your hand, and you gotta kind of I don't know. What was that? Just feed it into your mouth. You know what I mean? You gotta put your palm up, open your mouth, and let it just slip there. That sounds all wrong, but that's what you gotta do. And if you don't, it'll break into pieces. Okay, now you have a couple of jagged pieces. You put it in your mouth, and it's like glass, but then it dissolves. It literally just dissolves. So it's like...
It's just gone.
It's just gone. It's like this bubble gum goneness. It's weird as fuck. It gets stuck in your teeth, but it's still gone. It's the most random thing. I think the Martians invented it, to be honest with you. Because Mars attacked in the 60s, and they covered it up with trading cards and shit. Telling you, subliminal messages.
Yeah.
This is where the Meg comes in. Because the Meg really happened. There has been giant shark attacks across the world. We just don't know because of subliminal messaging. Wow, we are all...
Listen. We make the Dinosaurs Attack movie. We bring it all back into the Meg, right, by making a crossover with that. Then we bring in the Mars Attacks, because there was a trading card set of Mars Attacks versus Dinosaurs Attack that where the Martians took over the dinosaurs' minds and used them to take over the world.
When did that come out?
I want to know what's the scoop on the status of the Dino Riders movie they talked about remaking.
Oh my God!
Or making. They were talking about Dino Riders a year ago becoming a movie adaptation, and I'm wondering what's the status on that, because that would be cool. That's where you get your Fast and the Furious with Jurassic Park.
Nah, man. I owned a bunch of those fucking toys when I was young. I still have the pterodactyl somewhere. Not only the pterodactyl, but I have an ankylosaurus too from Dino Riders. I still own them. I had the Tyrannosaurus. Matter of fact, I have the frog guy that the supposedly the leader of the bad guys somewhere, but I still have those things. I can't see that happening ever. I'll just be honest with you. I cannot see that happening ever. If they do anything with that cartoon, and even then, nowadays, like, you know, we don't get action cartoons the way we used to get action cartoons back in the 80s. So that franchise is dead. What they could do is revitalize the toy line. You know, if the Meg shows enough dinosaur shit, I'm just saying, like, yo, we got dinosaurs. Come play with these toys.
We just need a toy line for this movie at all. The first movie didn't get a toy line. It didn't even get a commemorative statue. It didn't get any merch. That's another thing that needs to make the Meg a good franchise. It needs merch this time around.
That's true. You know what? That is a very fair point. But yeah, listen. I mean, that's it. There's not much else we can say until we see the next trailer or the movie itself. So I will just go and once again ask this question, round robin. Could this have the potential to be a mega franchise in line with like the Fast and the Furious, where it's just these random movies of the same thing over and over again? Gams.
As a book reader, I know that it does have the potential to be a nice, large, and varied cinematic franchise. I have the hope. I have the confidence, even, and yeah, I feel like it could be.
Okay, real quick before I go to you, Brother Chase, I gotta make an addendum, real quick. I forgot that Tencent Pictures, Chinese-owned company, backs these movies. So
yes,
we can actually get the entire franchise because they also back Fast and the Furious. If it's not them, it's another Chinese-owned movie studio. That's why there's so many of those movies, because apparently fast cars sell in China. You know, like these movies sell.
They also have a hand in the Godzilla movies too.
They do to an extent, but we all know where Godzilla comes from, and we all know that is always going to be Japan. So they can have all of it.
But Kong Skull Island was backed the most out of all the movies by Tencent.
Yeah, I could see that because it had nothing to do with Toho outside of the very, very last scene. Not scene, but credit, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
you also saw a photograph of Godzilla coming up out of the sea just before the Castle Bravo hit.
Oh shit! Right. You're right. Yep, you're right. You're right. I forgot about that. But yeah, so I mean, like, this does have the potential, brother Chase. I mean, I heard your answer already, but I'm gonna ask you one more time. Fast and the Furious style franchise, does this have the potential? Could it be the next thing to hold us down?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I
will say this though. I will say this though. A movie franchise I would like to see them do is Gargoyles.
Listen, hey, that's a podcast.
I know it has nothing to do, but I want to see Gargoyles.
hey, that you can't open that can of worms here. What are you trying to do? Fucking put them on a fishing?
We could have a whole podcast of franchises we want to see happen.
Right. We definitely could.
I can absolutely not go through with that right now. You broke my heart. You didn't break it. You actually swelled it up. I can see this being a franchise. I can see this being a mega franchise. I absolutely can. Even if these movies don't make $1 billion. But I think that they're on the right path, especially with this trailer, to get enough butts in seats to be like, yeah, that was fun. I'd see another one. Why not? It's so different from previous shark movies. that takes itself serious. It's definitely, this trailer alone, different from the first Meg movie where, I mean, the concept was wacky as shit, but it kind of tried to stay grounded. This movie said, nah, fuck that. It's a giant shark movie. It eats Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's a giant octopus. There's 3 of them. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go. I'm hoping for
fighting monsters by the end.
Yes. So come on. We can do this. And with the right creative people behind it, aka the actual creator of all this, the backing from Warner Brothers and Tencent, we can do this. I would love to see a franchise go forward. I would love to see at least 5 of these movies. And if we could get 5, then we sure as fuck could get 10. Because if people driving cars talking about family could get 10 fucking movies, then so can a giant.
I'm going to be a little more grounded, and I'm going to, at first, this is going to be my first hope goal kind of thing. Trilogy first, get a solid trilogy out first, and then see where we go from there.
I just don't want a trilogy to come out and then they wait 25 fucking years to drop the next one and be like, hey, nostalgia, I'll be dead. I don't want that. If the Fast and Furious can churn them out every fucking year, then so can this. This is a franchise that needs to do that. It doesn't. It's not Jurassic Park. It's not Star Wars. Hell, it's not even Lord of the Rings, even though they don't do that like that. But you know what I mean. Just go. This is a book series. Do it like Harry Potter did. Just go. Just go.
I mean, Harry Potter had eight books to go through, and they churned out 9 movies out of that. They broke up the last book twice.
Yeah, they sure did. The difference between Harry Potter and something like the Meg, though, was the through line was started and set, the whole plot, in the very first book. And it progressively grew until it got to the climax. This is the Meg. It's just a giant shark eating people and other giant monsters. That's all we need. Say no more. Again. This dude drives around for 10 movies and say, family. No. They went to space for crying out loud. They drove on a submarine in the fucking Arctic for crying out loud. You can't tell me, you can't give me a giant... Listen, all the Godzilla shit aside, Godzilla shit, you gotta take your time with that because Toho is very, very, very anal about their properties. It doesn't seem like Steve Alton is. He just wants to make these movies. For crying out loud, Gam, you said these books are made like cheap sci-fi films. So
they are, and he keeps on churning them out like bad entries to Asylum films, you know?
So let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Hold on. One thing I want to say is I'm on board for anything that's going to bring back the love for giant monsters and sci-fi. I'm always going to be on board for that. Always. Sharks, dinosaurs, Godzilla, giant monsters, dragons, whatever it be, I'm always going to be a huge supporter. I'm always down for those franchises. And right now I feel like we're in this turn of the resurgence for giant monsters and just sci-fi in general, and I like that.
I mean, to think about it, Chase, most of society is burnt out from superheroes. What could fill that void other than the classic monster movie? Something that's a tried and true formula that's been around since movies have been around.
And that's exactly a great point. And it's a point that I've been thinking about a lot lately, too.
And on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank my sib from another crib, Gam Z1, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Please, ladies and gentlemen, read the books.
Absolutely, I know I will. I want to thank Brother Chase for being on this podcast today.
Oh, absolutely. That was a fun.
It definitely was. And I want to thank everybody again for hanging out with us. I am G1. This is the Meg Trailer 2 reaction. No, it's not. But it was fun. We are out of here. Peace.